The Wisconsin Horse Racing Association was formed in, my recollection is in the 60s, and a number of individuals from the Antigo area got involved with other people that they knew throughout the state, and developed a circuit to race quarter horse and thoroughbreds at the county fairgrounds here and there throughout the state.
At that time, there was a lot of interest in racehorses this year, and especially in the spring of the year, around Derby time. And I'm probably using the term pretty loosely as racehorses, because some of them you could probably outrun on foot, including my own.
A lot of local families started going to horse shows together. They'd caravan from one town to the next, going to little horse shows here and there. And at the end of the horse shows, there were always a couple races, 2 or 3 races. And at that time, there were no starting gates. So they had hully-gully starts, and somebody would hit the bell or something, or they'd just get on the loudspeaker and say go. Well, they'd have a lot of false starts. So pretty soon these Antigo people got so excited about this horse racing thing that they said, let's have all day racing, because otherwise it's a family affair where there'd be the little horse show stuff that the young kids would do, and then they'd wait all day, and then they'd have 2 or 3 horse races at the end. Well, pretty soon they got so competitive, and in the beginning they just took their little cow ponies and raced them. Well, then they started beating each other, and everybody wanted a better horse, so they started going out and buying other horses to beat that other one. And so pretty soon then they didn't like the way the starts were. They had false starts when they were racing horses, and if they were going to have all day racing, well, then they needed a starting gate. So these local families got together and they bought a starting gate. And I remember the excitement when they could actually say it was a fair start because they had a starting gate.
Antigo, Wisconsin is a kind of a breeding ground for horse racing and history in our state, as well as throughout the whole country and the whole industry. Quite a number of people from Antigo and in the Wisconsin Horse Racing Association have gone on to careers in horse racing.
We always got together and had a lot of fun, and there was a lots of interest in racehorses, and some of them turned out to be pretty good horses too. And quite a few of the people that came from this area turned out to be good, worked in the business as trainers or owners or grooms or exercise riders, and there still is quite a few people doing that.
They used to have what we called bush races, and every weekend we would go. Antigo had them, Westfield, Watoma, Monroe. There were some in Michigan, there were some in Minnesota, and Gene used to drive the starting gates for these, plus he was the head starter, so you had to pass his test of putting your horse in the starting gates, and it'd stand there safely before you could race your horse. But he used to do that every single weekend. That was what we used to go to. We used to spend the weekends racing horses and competing.
The local fairgrounds track was a good place to race horses, and the Antigo Horse Racing Association grew out of that. Quite a number of us lived in the Antigo area and joined together to promote racing at the Langley County Fairgrounds.
As time went on, people just got more competitive, and a lot of these local families went to the big tracks after racing a lot in the bush races.
Most of the horsemen from around here went to the big tracks, and then they kind of gathered up, and there's probably about between 15 and 17 of them from our racing circuit that went to the big tracks.
When I
raced around Antigo, what you got when you won wasn't very much money. What was it,
I don't know.
$100 and some dollars, I mean, but all the people that raced in the racing association, they were mostly all good people. I mean, they all come every weekend, and it was like a family affair.
And these families have a number of generations that continue to work in the industry and make a good living at it. They're good at it.
We've always been involved in horses. It's our hobby, and it became a business for a lot of my nieces and nephews and my brothers and my sister and her daughter and son. We've always been involved, so we've got jockeys and trainers and pin hookers. My brother Clyde started the pin hooking business with horses, and it's just been a hobby for our entire family.
It's a great activity. You know, everybody, you love to see the movies, and it shows the person riding off into the sunset. I love a trail ride. I love competing on horses. I love all of it.
It was a great thing. It was a great thing for our kids.
This mural kind of points back to the history of our Langlade County and Antigo to give us a flavor of thoroughbred horse racing.
We own the Thrivent building on 5th Ave downtown Antigo, where the horse mural is on the east side of the building. Very impressed. Linda Robinson was the artist that kind of spearheaded the operation. She did an amazing job. She had some other artists that helped her. We'd also like to thank them as well.